What about when it comes to the Greens and their impact on Labor? We've heard from the Greens spokesperson on defence, I think they call it peace, as is their way, and talking about there's no issues with China setting up an arrangement, an alliance, effectively, arrangement in Solomon Islands, and that we shouldn't be worried about the future of Taiwan either.
I thought this joker was having a joke on all of us with that story. I mean, this just shows how batshit crazy the Greens are when they say that Communist China is not a threat to peace and security in the broader Asia-Pacific area, and in terms of what they're up to in the Solomons. And I've got family in the Solomons, so I can tell you this. The Solomon Islanders all know what the Chinese government's up to. They're not happy with their government. So if the people in the Solomons can see what Communist China's up to, I can't see why a bunch of overpaid Green senators can't see the damage that Communist China is going to cause to peace and security. And just remember, the only way Labor can win this coming election is on the back of Green preferences and also using the Greens in the Senate to get legislation through. And what is going to be the price for that support? You know, is it going to be Labor going soft on defence? Last time Labor in power, they cut defence spending to levels pre-World War II. With the Greens, it'll probably go back to levels pre the Boer War.
Well, this is the problem. This is why I raise it. I mean, nutty Greens speeches mean nothing on their own, but it's about what influence they would have if Labor win. As you say, Labor rely on their preferences in countless seats, but also a Labor government would get nothing through the Senate without the Greens. So the issue here is not just on this issue. Defence is a huge worry, of course, but I noticed today that Anthony Albanese is trying to say that his government would support new coal mines in your state of Queensland that are being proposed. How's he going to do that if he's reliant on the Greens?
We all know he's not going to do it. Albanese said he wants to govern like Premier Palaszczuk, which should scare the bejesus out of everybody, considering what an appalling job she's doing. But the classic example of how Palaszczuk has destroyed the coal industry in this state is you go to a little place called Ackland, near Oakey, where her government has continually tried to stop the expansion of a coal mine there, which means that hundreds of jobs have been lost because of the failure of Labor, and it's because of a secret deal between state Labor and the Greens. And we all know that Albanese has not done anything in his life. He's a creature of process. And you look at his words today. He didn't say, yes, I'm going to support mines, I'm going to fight for miners. He just said, he used politicians speak. And what he's going to do, he's going to allow the process. He'll let green warfare take out these mines. He won't back them like our government backs them. Well, we're not backing a mine for the sake of a mine. We're backing jobs, and we're backing the royalties that come from these mines, and we're making sure we've got safe and reliable electricity in this state.
Yeah, it's amazing that Labor again is lacking policy clarity on these issues, because of course they were front and centre at the last election. They don't seem to have done the work to actually unify around a clear policy here. And yeah, it's hard to see any coal mines getting the support of a federal Labor government when we've seen what the Greens are saying and what the Labor left generally says. Now, we've called out a lot of Anthony Albanese's rather large errors in the first week. We can't let the Prime Minister off scot-free. Let's have a look at Scott Morrison's mistake in Perth today.
In income support through the job seeker, which, as you know, we increased from $40 a week to $46 a week since the last election.
Yeah, that's what a gaffe looks like. You want to downplay these things as little missteps and gaffes. That's a mistake. He should have been saying from $40 a day to $46 a day. But there'll be plenty out there trying to talk this up now, that this is apparently just as bad as Albo not knowing the unemployment rate.
Well, the thing about Albo, and I've got a little prop here. So some people caught up with Albo today at his press conference and had some signs here just to help him in terms of some key figures like the unemployment rate. The thing about Albanese is he's Chris, you're the same generation as me, is that he's the Uncle Arthur of Australian politics. Remember Uncle Arthur of Fast Forward? That is Albanese. That is what he's like. He's bumbling his way around this country, and you just go, seriously? Like yesterday, he said he didn't hear a question properly. Can you imagine this guy sitting down with the President of China or the President of the United States and go, "Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you properly. I didn't have my hearing aid turned on." Are you serious? We don't want this guy anywhere near the levers of power. I wouldn't trust him with my remote control or a toaster, let alone being in charge of our economy and the rebuilder after COVID. He's gaffe prone.
I dips my lid to your little analogy there. Uncle Arthur is brilliant. I've been saying that Joe Biden is the Chauncey Gardner in the White House. So we've got Chauncey Gardner meets Uncle Arthur at the next time Australia and the US get together. Thanks for joining us, James.
No worries. Thanks, Chris. Toodaloo.
James McGrath there, yeah. Chauncey Gardner running the White House and Uncle Arthur in the Lodge. What could possibly go wrong?